And the most crazy thing too, do we not just forget what happened when Facebook shut down for 6 hours? Like, did everyone just forget what happened with that? People were literally crying on their internet. They couldn't eat. They were swiping all day to get on Instagram and on Facebook. Did everyone just forget about that? Hello everyone, welcome to Just Invest Today. And today we are talking about Facebook. Man, there's been so much talk about Facebook's earnings and what happened to it. Is this company failing? What is going on? So in today's video, we have to get into Facebook and see what all the talk is about. If it's a worthy investment, you already know that I already have a good 15% of my portfolio in Facebook. I still feel like it's a strong company, but we have to always listen to the reverse arguments on why this company is garbage, and let's get into it. So before that, we're going to see what the stock price is doing. What is the stock doing? So you can see just right after earnings, man, this had a sharp uptrend, and then look at this dip, man. It went down 5%, came back up, so only down 3%. This company is at a 23 PE, which is crazy to me. I don't even understand how that's possible, but we have to get into everything because we already know that what Facebook has been dealing with. We had this woman, whoever she was, like a Facebook insider, come out and say that Facebook is causing harm and is damaging teenagers and they're all for profit, blah blah blah, and that really hurt Facebook and the company, man. So they took a huge kind of PR damage, and they always take these damages, they always take these shots. But you already know Facebook is a great, fundamentally sound company, and remember, over the long term, the cash that Facebook generates is what's going to make it succeed. So even with all that, you know, Facebook is trying to make, like, what can they do? Can they actually stop everything on Facebook, on Instagram? Like, that's literally impossible. And let's say Facebook gets shut off. There's going to be another Facebook, another social media app. Like, you think everything on YouTube is, like, good and gracious and amazing? Do you think everything on Snapchat is amazing? Guys, you have to realize there's always going to be benefits and negatives to everything. Just think about alcohol. Should we just ban alcohol? Should we ban guns? Like, is that where we're going now? Like, since alcohol can cause all this damage to society, should we just ban alcohol because we don't want that damage to society and what it could do? Should we ban guns? Like, it's just nonsense, man. It's like, if you use Facebook, Instagram in a good way, you can actually, like, it's not that bad if you really think about it. Like, my Instagram is just all what I see, what the media is talking about, investing, like scenery pictures, like what else, like sports. Like, it's like, I just don't see how it can just do so much damage to people. But I guess it's different for every age group, so just all depends on how you use it, in my opinion. So that's taking care of that whole section of what Facebook is, because they don't talk about what's doing good. They don't talk about how it's doing commerce, how, like, so many people have jobs, careers from just social media, from Facebook, from Instagram, how it's so many live events, like donations. They can bring a lot of strong groups together. I know people that have a lot of issues, they go to Facebook to talk about their issues. Like, there's a lot of stuff that Facebook can do good and that can do bad, but, like, guys, it's all of a way how you use it. Like, it's not just one or the other. So that's my little spiel about Facebook. But like, what happened with Facebook? So it had 29 billion in revenue, 35% year over year, and people are seeing this as a, like, they don't even care. Like, that just goes over their head. And then they go EPS growth 19%. These companies that are this big, growing 35% revenue year over year, like, that's amazing. And people are just gonna, like, look over that because of what people hate. Facebook, people hate Mark and what they're doing. And they announced 50 billion in buybacks. So honestly, that's good for the stock price, because think about it. Once the company gets lower, who cares if the company gets lower? They're buying $50 billion worth of stock. That means if the stock gets lower, they're able to just purchase more stock. They're getting more for their money. So a cheaper stock is actually better for Facebook. So at the end of the day, like, Facebook is still going to do all right. And then you got to think about all the negatives. And we're going to get into all the negatives about Facebook. And let's see if we can counter that, because our investment decision, what are we going to be able to see 5, 10 years from now? Is Facebook still going to be a viable company? Do you think Instagram is going to be viable? WhatsApp is going to be viable? And I'm actually so mad that Facebook hasn't even touched WhatsApp. Like, what is Mark doing with that? Like, it's been so long. WhatsApp is like an old company. Like, they should just monetize it so quickly. Like, imagine everything that can like happen with WhatsApp. Like, Brazil basically needs WhatsApp for like e-commerce section. So that just goes to show you that WhatsApp is like literally needed in Brazil for e-commerce, just for connecting with customers. So I just don't understand how they haven't monetized it. You can probably make WhatsApp like squared if you really think about it. So let's get into this little part on Twitter. So these are his kind of reasonings why he like decided to sell Facebook. So let's get into it. So a large investment period over. Clearly this isn't true. We have a multi-year investment cycle. So basically he's seeing that Facebook is going to invest a lot of its free cash flow in basically growing the business. And that's one of the biggest arguments, largest complaints. And you got to think about it like this. They're said they're going to invest like 50 billion, and that's like over like a 5-year period, man. Like, the market cap for Facebook is like 900 billion. 50 billion is nothing. It's like 5%. And this is with the continuation of growth and free cash flow growth of Facebook. So when you really think about it, 50 billion is nothing over like a 5-year period. So crying about that is just crazy to me, as Facebook is building out their metaverse, and that's a huge risk too. People say like, oh, you're doing too much, you're putting too much money in there, you don't know what you're doing. But you got to think about it. You have to keep up with competition. You have to keep growing. Like, Facebook, like, Mark has proven himself to be a very like knowledgeable entrepreneur, and what he knows what he's doing. So I believe that like the future is AR and VR. Do you agree? Like, I agree like wholeheartedly. It's gonna move in that direction, and it's just a matter of time. Like, there's no way phones and Instagram is gonna be here forever. Like, you know, there's gonna be a new thing coming up, another thing coming up. So I'm perfectly fine, because the Quest 2, that's growing like crazy, and they have work teams with businesses like in person. Like, are you serious? Like VR, like AR in person, but you're not like really there, but you're in the AR verse. Like, that's gonna be where the world's moving to. And even if it doesn't move to there, they still have crazy amount of e-commerce growth and just advertisement growth, and that's gonna continue as they get better with all that crazy good stuff, right? The Apple privacy changes, and that's a big thing that people are talking about. The Apple iOS changes, and when it comes to that, I feel like Facebook will be able, like, they're still growing 35% year over year with that. And that's what not optimally finding out and figuring out the best ways to go about it. So they're still doing a lot of stuff on that. They've actually been using Facebook to actually generate their own ads inside the app. So they're saying they're not going to rely on actually your privacy as much going forward. They're going to do a lot of investments in that, and they're going to actually have more shops in Instagram where you can just go directly to the shop and buy. So, and they're working with a lot of companies when it comes to that. So yeah, so you're going to see their operating margins, you're going to see their margins dropping, because yes, they're investing a lot in the future, and that's what good companies do. Like, just think about Amazon. Their operating margins are down in the drain because they're actually looking to the future. They're investing in fulfillment, and they're investing more in AWS. That's going to help grow the business. So yes, you're going to lose money up front, but that's going to provide 10 years of growth into the future and free cash flow. And that's what we're looking at. If you can picture 5 to 10 years from now where Facebook's going to be, then you understand. And the most crazy thing too, do we not just forget what happened when Facebook shut down for 6 hours? Like, did everyone just forget what happened with that? People were literally crying on their internet. They couldn't eat. They were swiping all day to get on Instagram and on Facebook. Did everyone just forget about that? What about when Facebook starts shutting down all these like programs on Facebook with donations and charities and groups? when the whole insurgents thing happened and they were shutting down with the president stuff, and they were shutting down, and people were complaining about, oh, I'm not able to donate here, I'm not able to receive money from charity. Do you see what was happening? Oh my god, it was crazy. People just forget so quickly about how important Facebook is to the world and what the world was doing when it shut down for 6 hours. People couldn't even stand that, and you're telling me Facebook's just gonna go away? Like, people are insane. Like, it's like I can't even fathom how people are so just like short-sighted that they couldn't even see that. Just for 6 hours, like 3 weeks ago, people were crying over the internet because they couldn't access Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. And then they were saying, oh, we don't see how Facebook can last another 5 years. Really? Like, man, I don't understand. And still, Facebook, Instagram is still on the top of the list in downloads. And this is with their already amazing growth. WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, all those messengers, they're still on the top 10 worldwide apps being downloaded today. And people are still saying Facebook is going to go down the drain. There's not going to be a company in 5 to 10 years. Like, that's what people are saying. And it's crazy to me to think that. And on top of that, we have to see the direction Facebook is going to end up going. They're going to rely more on Reels, that little like quick video, almost like TikTok. They're trying to actually get more of the younger demographic back onto Instagram and on Facebook. Well, I see that being as a good thing, a productive thing, because I feel like the old people they have all the older people, the mid, whatever, 20s, 30s, and then the older generation. And now the younger generation is using more TikTok and all that stuff. So I feel like, honestly, Facebook can get that crowd, which could be a possible risk of trying to transition to get that crowd. And then the other risk might be that they actually investing a lot in Metaverse, and that might not be successful. But even if that's not successful, they still have their main business, which is just dominating in the advertisement space. And I feel like that's going to at least continue for the next 5 to 10 years. So that's just my thoughts on Facebook. What are your thoughts on Facebook? Do you still feel like Facebook's a good company? It's a great investment right now, selling at like a 23 PE. We have companies like Tesla outdoing Facebook easily, and people are not really complaining about Tesla, but for some reason Facebook is the company going down the drain, which is very interesting, just to show you what the market thinks about companies. That's all that matters right now, what the market thinks about the company. So tell me what you think about Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Leave your comments down below. Can you please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll get back to you in the next video. Peace!